Welcome to the March 2021 Gaming PC Builds of the Month, brought to you by Newb Computer Build. My name is Corey. Let's get started with this month's builds. This month, few changes, few updates, few things in the PC hardware news, if so to speak. But first, quick change here on the builds of the month. You might notice we have the same builds as usual: $1,500, $1,000, $500. But in between that, there's an $800 one. Used to be the $700 one. But I've had to kind of increase the budget of that build because realistically it's $800 due to some of the things going on in the PC hardware market. Some of the costs have gone up, most notably the graphics cards cost due to supply levels, etc. But in order to keep that performance per dollar spent, this build needed to be knocked up a little bit. And with that, we also updated the RAM, but we'll get to that when we get to that. First but foremost, some news in the hardware world, most notably over the last month and coming into this month. AMD Zen 3 Ryzen 5000 processors are still king. They're still king right now in the gaming PC world. However, Intel might sweep in with their newest code-named the CPU's Rocket Lake. Wow, I spelled Lake wrong there, but Rocket Lack. But it's Rocket Lake processors going into, which is their first newest architecture in like 6 years. Which is insane. These might compete very heavily with the current Ryzen CPU, so keep an eye out for that in the coming months. The RTX 3060 12GB card just released. If you get your hands on one, you're a lucky person, but that's notable. If you can get your hands on one, that'd be awesome. But also with regards to the graphics card supply levels, still not good. Still not good. If you've been trying to build a PC, you'd know that, but you can still get your hands on cards if you keep an eye out there, but they're still not good. But NVIDIA has come up with a solution now for crypto miners. They're they're attempting to halve the hash rate of their cards so that it's basically half the profit, so to speak, if you're a crypto miner using RTX cards. So if you go over here, NVIDIA made for gaming, CMP is made to mine. So they're coming up with basically graphics cards for mining and graphics cards for gaming, which is great to hear. Hopefully it works out. I have my fingers crossed that that'll help the market at the moment. However, AMD is releasing new cards over the next week here, March 3rd most notably. So if we go over to AMD here, they have said the next chapter in their RDNA 2 story is almost here. So if you're watching this video before March 3rd, tune into AMD. They're going to announce their new cards. Most likely, they're going to release something in between the RTX 3060 and the 3060 Ti from NVIDIA. So let's keep an eye out for that. And hopefully that also helps the graphics card market at the moment. But again, fingers crossed. Let's get started with the builds of the month. We're going to start with the $1,500 gaming PC build of the month for March 2021. Again, this is for those that want to game into 1080p maxed out, 1440p maxed out at high refresh rates or FPS, and play good even into 4K resolutions. Let's get started with the CPU. The AMD Ryzen 5 5600X is the CPU included here. Brand new Ryzen 5000 series CPU. Might be a little low on supply. If you can't find that, which you can, if you keep an eye out there these days, it does come available, but it was released about a month ago, so that's why it's hard to get your hands on. But it should come out to $381.45 at the moment. If you can't get that, get the Ryzen 7 3700X for $329.99. Still a very competitive processor. This comes with a cooler. We're going to use the stock AMD Race Stealth cooler here, so no cost there. The motherboard is the Gigabyte X570 Aurora Elite Wi-Fi, $199.99. Graphics card we have here is the Zotac Gaming GeForce RTX 3070. Again, very low on stock. If you can get one, sweet. That's all I can say right now. You should be expecting around $530. Don't spend too much on these graphics cards these days, guys, because otherwise you're paying a scalp or something like that. Just be patient. Or look in the used market, something like Facebook Marketplace. Always good too. But again, you probably won't get a 3070 for a reasonable price. Alternative cards, if you can't get your hands on that, MSI Gaming GeForce RTX 2070 is also an option, a super 8GB one here. Or search for other RTX 2070s in stock. Again, older cards aren't a bad thing either. Just keep an eye out. But cards, no matter what you're, I feel like a broken record. No matter what you're getting, it's going to be hard. The RAM we have this month for the $1,500 build is the Crucial Ballistics 3600 megahertz kit that you see here at $83.73. Storage is an SSD, the Crucial P1 1TB NVMe SSD, 104.99. Power supply is the Corsair RMX series RM750X, 750 watt power supply for $128.99. And then the case that we have here is the Corsair iQ 220T RGB case at $99.99. And this should, assuming you can get your hands on everything, come in just shy of $1,500 at $1,478 at the start of March 2021. Moving on to the second build. This is the $1,000 build for March 2021. This one is for those that want to max out games at high refresh rates at 1080p and play well into higher settings at 2K resolutions without a sweat. CPU we have here is the AMD Ryzen 5 3600 at $199.99. Comes with the Race Stealth cooler. Motherboard we have is the ASRock B550 Pro 4 at $114.99. Graphics card, MSI Gaming GeForce RTX 3060 Ti, newer card as of last month. Also note that the RTX 3060 12GB card just came out. Could be a contender as well if you can get one, but brand new. Estimated cost for this would be $400. An alternative, lesser comparable card, if you can't get your hands on that, is still the RX 5700 XT. Still a good card. Not quite a 3060 Ti, but still a great card that can give you performances within this range. The memory we have is the Crucial Ballistics 3600. 16GB kit here at $83.73. Storage, Crucial P1 500GB NVMe SSD at $59.99. Power supply is Corsair CV Series 650 watt power supply, $64.19. PC case, the NZXT H510 case at $69.99, and this comes in under shy of $1,000, $993. Next build is the $800 build. Newer, older build. Used to be the $700 build, like I said before, but this is $800. So the CPU we have, and actually before we get started, this is at high FPS at 1080p resolutions is what you can expect if you go with this build. CPU is the AMD Ryzen 5 3600, $199.99. Cooler, Race Stealth cooler. Motherboard, ASRock B550M HDV, $80.99. Graphics card, MSI Gaming Radeon RX 5600 XT. Graphics card. Other lesser comparables that you can search for that aren't quite as good, but if you want a card right away, GTX 1660 Super or the regular 1660 or an RX 5500 XT. RAM we have again is the Crucial Ballistics 3600 16GB kit at $83.73. Want to note that the $700 build used to include just 8GB of RAM. We've upped that to 16 to be more competitive to the gaming market as it is these days, which makes it an $800 gaming PC build. So the storage we have here is the Crucial P1 500GB NVMe SSD, $59.99. We have a 600 watt Thermaltake Smart at $54.99, and then the case is a Thermaltake Versa H15 Micro ATX case. So a small form factor case for a small form factor motherboard at $49.99, and this comes out to $810 at the start of March 2021. Now, final but not least, this is the I want to get started gaming PC build. The $500 gaming PC build of the month for March 2021. We switched this one up a little bit too, and for good reason. The CPU is the AMD Ryzen 5 3400G CPU that has integrated Radeon RX graphics. That means it has integrated graphics. You do not need a graphics card to get started in gaming. You just need the CPU without a graphics card, which is good since graphics cards are hard to get your hands on. However, it won't perform quite as well as having a discrete graphics card, but it gives you the option to upgrade in the future to a discrete graphics card. And this build comes into just over $500 at the moment. So it is a good bang for buck performance budget build for that reason. But if you can get your hands on a cheap graphics card, an alternative could be the Ryzen 3 3300X CPU at $130, but that's only if you can get a discrete graphics card. I just want to caveat that. But anyways, the Ryzen 5 3400G is at $284.99, comes with an AMD Race Stealth cooler. The motherboard we have here is the Asus Prime B450M Micro ATX motherboard at $77.99. The graphics is included in that integrated CPU. However, if you go with the other CPU, you can get an EVGA GeForce GTX 1650 if you can get your hands on it, and you'd get better performance. Might cost you a little bit more though. The memory we have is a HyperX Fury 8GB kit of two 4GB sticks of DDR4 RAM at $45.99. The storage we have is a SATA SSD, the PNY CS900 240GB SSD, $29.99. Power supply we have is a Thermaltake Smart 500 watt, $47.99. And then final but not least, the PC case, the Thermaltake Versa H15 again, the micro ATX case at $49.99. And this build comes out to $536.94. And that does it for the gaming PC builds of the month for March 2021. If you want to learn more about these builds or kind of look up upgrade alternatives for the future, or now you have more to spend, visit the site at newbcomputerbuild.com. Otherwise, best of luck building, and until next month.